We have news about the iPhone 17R's battery capacity and weight, and there's bad news, people, because the iPhone 17R's battery could be tiny. Like real tiny. Let's delve in. So courtesy of Korean leaker Ukes1122, the iPhone 17R may weigh 145 grams with a battery capacity of 2,800 mAh. Now if you're wondering how the heck this guy has precise information like this, he claims he has gotten intel about a mass production sample, though he's not the most credible source in the world, so take this with a grain of salt. However, we have heard about the 17R having middling endurance from other sources. The information, for example, who's a very reliable source, told us in internal testing only 60 to 70% of iPhone users will be able to use the 17R for a full day of usage, which is below the 80 to 90% metric Apple was targeting. And so as a result, Apple will be relaunching the MagSafe power bank to mitigate this. They had originally launched this with the iPhone 12 series, but discontinued them in 2023 because Apple had shifted to Type-C accessories and wanted to kill Lightning. So I'm assuming this new MagSafe power bank will look the same, but will come with the USB-C port instead. And while this does indeed have a 2,800 mAh battery, then yes, you're probably going to need a power bank pretty often. For comparison, the iPhone 12 had a similar 2,815 mAh battery, and so a 6.1-inch iPhone from 2020 sharing a similar battery capacity to this 6.6-inch 120Hz iPhone isn't fantastic. And also remember, the iPhone 12 series wasn't known to have fantastic endurance. As I said, they launched MagSafe power banks then because the iPhone 12 series wasn't fantastic battery-wise. Now, this leaker does say there is a chance Apple does use high-density batteries instead. This basically allows a lot of energy to be stored within a small physical space, and early rumors had suggested this was coming to the iPhone 17R, so I assumed Apple might be able to give us a 4,300 or 4,400 mAh battery in this, which wouldn't be too bad considering the Plus right now has a 4,674 mAh cell. I mean, we have Android flagships packing in 6,000 mAh batteries in pretty slim devices, and so I assumed Apple could do the same, and whilst this Korean source says there's a chance, it seems that maybe they can't scale up that technology, and so as a result the physical battery is going to take a massive hit. We do have the C1 modem in the iPhone 17R, which should help with efficiency since we did see battery gains with the iPhone 16e, but either way, if you have to rely on a power bank to get through a regular day of usage, then this phone is kind of doomed. I mean, the whole point of this phone is that it's supposed to be razor thin, but if you're using it with a power bank most of the time, then why buy this? I mean, the Mini also had battery issues, but at least it offered a compact form factor which no other iPhone had. The Air will feel like pretty much every other big screen iPhone. The thinness was its biggest selling point, but once you slap a power bank on it, that USB becomes redundant. But you know what would not be redundant? If you click that subscribe button. It's free and would bring you the latest about Apple right to the subscription box, so please consider it. Join the Saranbyte gang now. But coming back to the iPhone 17R, at the very least, you don't have to worry about this iPhone bending in your pocket, because apparently Apple is going to use a mix of aluminium and titanium, and we saw how Apple improved the structural integrity with the iPad Pro despite making the chassis thinner, so you shouldn't worry about this bending despite it being 5.5mm thin. Apple also went with a 6.6-inch display to prevent it from bending, since the original plan was to make this as big as the Pro Max. The phone will also be very light for such a large device. 145 grams puts it in the ballpark of the iPhone 13 mini and SE 3rd generation, which is impressive considering both are much smaller devices. And don't get me wrong, aesthetically this iPhone will still look amazing, and it is an engineering marvel they made it so thin and also managed to fit in the action button and camera control, but I'm really worried about battery life because practically day to day, you're gonna notice the battery life not being great, and that is gonna hinder the experience. And the bad news continues, because if you were excited about the anti-reflective coating, apparently that's been cancelled. So leaker Instant Digital had told us that similar to the Galaxy S24 and S25 Ultra, the iPhone 17 Pro could use a display that's more visible in sunlight, thanks to an anti-reflective coating. Now, however, it seems that Apple's run into problems scaling up the display coating process. Adding this process to the millions of devices Apple produces would have taken longer than expected, and Apple obviously wants production to go smoothly as possible, and so as a result, it's been cancelled. The new display coating was also supposed to be more scratch resistant, and so it seems Apple will now just stick to using the newer version of ceramic shields that was introduced with the iPhone 16 series. I know for those who use a screen protector, an anti-reflective coating does not make a difference, but either way this would have been a cool upgrade, and so I'm a little bummed this is not coming to the iPhone 17. But not to worry, because there's other groundbreaking changes coming to the Pro phones, such as a new colour. Wow! But honestly, it's not just any color, because the Sierra Blue iPhone 13 Pro has been reborn. We have news that we could see a sky blue color option on the iPhone 17 Pro, and this gets me tingling, guys. So previously, John Prosser told us we could see a silver, black and white iPhone 17 Pro, and I was pretty disappointed by that news because with Apple switching back to aluminium on iPhone 17 Pro, I thought we could see more exciting finishes. And silver, black and white are not exciting. Now, however, we have a leak from Majimbu telling us the sky blue shade we saw with the MacBook Air may also be coming to the iPhone, and while if we mock this up, it looks eerily similar to Sierra Blue from the iPhone 13 Pro series. Majimbu does tell us it'll be a more refined version of that shade. Whatever that means, I'm not exactly sure how you can refine a color. But anyway, Majimbu does say it's going to be brighter, which I hope is the case. It should not look grey in most lighting conditions. But honestly, as much as I love Sierra Blue, I do hope we get more saturated finishes as well, similar to the colors we see on the regular models. Majimbu does tell us Apple's testing other colors too and nothing's been finalized. So we shall wait and see what Apple ends up doing. Imagine something as punchy as ultramarine on the Pro phones. That would be great. Now, if you're hoping for faster charging iPhones, we have news that won't be the case with iPhone 17. Analyst Jeff Boo tells us the complete iPhone 17 range will support 35-watt wide charging, which is about the same as the iPhone 16 series. I know some may be bummed out by this considering lots of Android phones now support 50-watt charging speeds, but honestly, I'm not too annoyed by this. I'd much rather Apple give us larger batteries than improve the endurance and make these phones last longer in the first place, in which case you don't have to charge your phone overnight. And thankfully that should be the case with the Pro models and specifically the Pro Max. Yes, the Air may have battery issues and so that could benefit from faster charging, but I'm really hoping they do manage to give it a bigger battery. Now let's move on to the camera. So according to John Prosser, Apple's going to introduce a new feature where you can record from the front-facing and rear-facing camera at the same time. I say new in quotations because I'm pretty sure you could do this on the Galaxy S4, a phone from 2013, and so it's nice to see that Apple's finally catching up with the competition. But what's funny is that apparently this simple feature is going to be a Pro exclusive. I understand they want to tout the Pro phones more as a content creation machine and a feature that's most useful for creatives, but it also should be something the base models should easily be able to do, so I really hope they don't software lock it to the Pro phones. By the way, I am aware third-party applications like Snapchat already allow you to do this, but natively offering this would be great as well, and as I said, it is about time. Next, let's talk about the telephoto on iPhone 17 Pros. So for those unaware, we have heard a lot about a new 48MP telephoto lens coming to the iPhone 17 Pro. This was the last lens still on 12 megapixels, as the main camera had moved to 48 megapixels with the iPhone 14 Pro, and the ultra-wide had moved to 48 megapixels with the 16 Pro. Now with the telephoto switching to 48 megapixels, Apple plans to apparently offer 3.5x optical zoom instead of 5x currently offered on the 15 and 16 Pro Max. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.